Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back, and I wanted to go ahead and give my review on Married to Medicine. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So the episode starts off with Anila and Dr. Karen. Anila just got back from Vegas. She says that she should be detoxing. However, she still poured her a glass of wine. I said, I know that's right. Dr. Karen, he wants to draft up kind of like some rules for the house. Anila's parents, they're coming because I guess this is going to kind of be like a test run to see, you know, I don't know, girl. They just coming to watch the kids to see, I guess, if they could possibly be the nanny. Is that what was going on with Anila? Let me just go ahead and say this. So I've just come to just realize that Anila and her mama are like the Candy and Mama Joyce of Married to Medicine. Anila mama may, oh no, I ain't even gonna say that. I was about to say Anila mama may be worse than Mama Joyce. But see, some of y'all forgot how Mama Joyce used to act a couple of years ago. Okay. Um, I'm all down. I understand that some of y'all are still scared of y'all mamas and daddies and y'all 40 and 50 and 60 and got 5 and 6 kids and girl been married 3 and 4 times and you still scared of your mama. Girl. Um, and I understand that some of you don't really know how to set boundaries with your parents because you feel as though it's disrespectful and you just let them say anything they want to say to your husband or to your wife. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all don't understand why y'all having problems because your smart mouth mama or smart mouth daddy, but it's usually the mamas. Have y'all noticed that? Anila is too grown to be walking around here and her mama telling her what she can and cannot do with her vagina. Girl, you really sit there in front of a group of grown women and let your mama tell you that you were not gonna get a shot. Not because you just didn't want to get the shot, because your mama told you you couldn't do it. If I was a woman in that group, I would have looked at Anita like she was crazy. And I think most of them probably thought that. Like, girl, what? Girl, you are a grown woman. Okay? I think that even Anila telling Dr. Karen that what works with her is to keep your mouth shut. Your mama not gonna come into my house, okay? Come into this house, come into our house, okay? And you tell me the best way to keep the peace is for me to keep my mouth hush in my house. I just don't know stuff like that. When it comes to stuff like that, I don't know how y'all mama or not. And I know, like when I think about the Todds and the Dr. Karens, y'all can only do so much because at the end of the day, that's your wife's mama. But that's how people have issues in relationships. That's one of the reasons. Anila, your mama is out of line. You gonna mess around and lose your husband, and I'm gonna be right there trying to snatch up Dr. Karen. Okay? Ooh, child. The rules that he had listed, they didn't sound too bad. Basically knock on doors, wash your hands when you cooking. Girl, when he told Anila, girl, y'all basically eat with y'all elbows. Dr. Karen is funny. Girl, when he told Anila that her family pretty much eat with their elbows, baby, I hollered. He basically said y'all nasty. Ooh, child. Basically, I guess they had one rule about like the kids. I think it was more so like discipline the kids. I can understand that, but because sometimes even if it's your mama, girl, if you don't whoop your kids, your mama might try to whoop your kids. That causes a whole nother situation. But the commandments, as he put it, they were not that bad. To me they weren't. Okay, Toya. Oh, girl. Toya and Dr. Eugene. You know, I try to be respectful, even though sometimes I slip up. I try to call them doctor. I remember my grandmother told me, you know, my grandmother is a nurse. She told me years ago. I remember when I was in high school, that's when I was trying to have a smart mouth with the teachers, and I had got in trouble one day because I called it was actually the assistant, I think she was the assistant principal. And she had came to our classroom one day, and she was a doctor, and I called her Miss, and she told me to refer to her as doctor. And I kept saying Miss, 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 just smart mouth girl. And I got in trouble basically. And my grandmother basically told me that she had every right to tell me to refer to her as doctor because, you know, these people work hard for those letters. So if she says refer to her as doctor, refer to her as doctor. That's what my grandmother told me. So I try to be respectful, you know, even to this day. You know, I still slip up sometimes. Like it really I don't know why I got under my skin when Heavenly went to see Dr. Heavenly went to see Dr. Jackie. And the lady at the front desk referred to her, and she said, "Okay, Heavenly, you can go back." Well, I don't know. I was like, "Girl, you don't say Heavenly. Girl, you know that's Dr. Heavenly. Girl, you should say Dr. Heavenly. You can go ahead and go back." I don't know why that bothered me because I feel like for that situation, like I think it's different for us on YouTube when we just reviewing the show and we just like Heavenly, Eugene, Simone, Jackie, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like for that situation, because you know that that's Dr. Heavenly, like she respected Dr. Heavenly's letters and said, "Dr. Heavenly, you can go to the back." Kind of like when remember when I'm getting all off subject. Remember when Dr. Karen, when they announced him, he was like, "Doctor, doctor." Like if you're gonna address me the right way. I get it. I get it. Toya. So Toya at home opening up some cans. Toya said, "Girl, whatever I cook for these, whatever I cook for these Negroes, girl, I'm not doing all that slaving over no stove. They're gonna get whatever I pop these cans. We gonna throw some beans in a pot. We gonna throw some tomatoes in a pot, girl. Girl, whatever come out, girl, is what come out." Toya say, "I'm not cooking for none of these Negroes in this house, baby." Toya was over there popping cans, baby. So Toya in the kitchen popping cans. Eugene outside trying to watch the game. Their son goes and gets Dr. Eugene. Dr. Eugene comes in, and you know he was like, "What is it?" You know, I'm trying to watch the last bit of the game. I said, "Girl, Dr. Eugene can't even watch the game in peace. Damn, girl, this man been out there saving lives, watching people die. All he want to do is go outside, have a glass of wine, and watch the game, and he can't even do that." Girl. No, but so basically, long story short, while Toya was away in Vegas, one of their sons, I think it was Avery, went over to like a birthday party and they basically accused him of being a thief. What it sounds like to me, either Avery was the only black kid there and they were white. I don't know. They never really just said, but I felt like Avery was probably the only black kid there. And for whatever reason, again, they accused him of stealing like some type of piece to a Nintendo game, or charger, or I don't know, child. I thought it was a cute conversation that they had with him, basically just telling him that, you know, Eugene asked him, was he okay? He said he is now. You know, this is a learning lesson that you have to be, you know, careful, or, you know, you have to, you know, basically choose your friends. And if you feel like they're not treating you right, then they may not be your friend. So this is the part that I wanted to talk about. Y'all already know. And I just want to say something. Next week, based off of the preview, I think I'm gonna be defending Toya next week. I am. I don't want to come too hard. I don't want to come down too hard on Toya. I don't. But I think that we just have to call a thing a thing. I don't know why and this is another thing I want to say too. Y'all know I'm not in the business of like defending these men. But when I see a good man, girl, when I feel like I can spot a good man, Savannah, I will defend him. It ain't a lot of them out there. I think y'all want me to be online defending the Futures, the Nick Cannons, the Kevin Harts, the Snoop Dogs, all the like the T.I.s, the Boosies. And when I don't, y'all get mad. And I'm like, girl, that ain't got nothing to do with me. If I was online talking about Dr. Eugene, talking about Dr. Damon, talking about Barack, talking about Russell Wilson, then y'all could probably sit here and question, girl, something is wrong with him. But I think I have a great grasp on like what a decent, kind, good man is. I think that some of y'all are kind of like gone up here. And that's what we just gonna have to disagree. Toya says that Eugene, I guess while she was gone, like you work 12 hours and then you sleep for the other 10 hours. I said, what happened? Well, I said, well, what happened to the other 2 hours? Okay, this Toya. We're going to let Toya have us. Okay, Toya. You know it's 24 hours in a day, but you just said 12 and 10, and I was like, well, what happened to the other 2? So I guess she tried to insinuate, I guess, that Eugene really isn't able to see the kids. You know, she said, well, you live with us. He was like, live with you. Like, but she was like, you don't see the kids. And he was like, you know, of course he took offense to it. Like, you're not going to be out here trying to act like I don't like, you know, see my kids. But this is the truth, okay? No matter how you slice it and dice it, when you really sit back and think about once, and we've talked about this before, once your kids start to go to school, and depending on your work schedule, and this is just not for Dr. Eugene, this is for a lot of people who work, a lot of single mothers, a lot of just people, period. When you really break down the schedule, so say for example, depending on where you work at, of course, and depending on your hours, but say your kids go to school, they get up around 6, 5:30, whatever, right? Depending on what time they got to be at school. They get home around 3:30, 4, right? They may have, if they're of a certain age, they may have after school activities, you know, band practice, cheerleading practice, football, you know, whatever, track, whatever. They may not get home till 4 or 5, right? If you are working from like 10 to 7, you know, whatever hours, there's a chance that you really don't get to see your children a lot during the week. And then if you work on the weekend, you may still not be able to see them. You see what I'm saying? That's just like the reality of it. So you may not make it home till 6, 7. You may have a few hours to spend with your kids, and then everybody got to start going to bed and get ready for the next day. You know, that's why it's kind of important too, like you try to instill what you can instill in your kids, because once those kids get in, we all been in school before. Once we get in school, all you can do is just pray and hope that the stuff that you taught your kids, that they latch onto it, because the truth of the matter is your kids are going to be in school more than they probably are around you. So with Dr. Eugene, there is a good chance that Dr. Eugene is not around his kids a lot, because his kids are in school. Dr. Eugene is working 12, probably plus hours, and then he's probably sleeping on his off days, right? So it's a chance that he probably doesn't get to see his kids the way that he wants to see his kids, or he may not be able to be there the way he wants to be there for his kids. So I do kind of believe there's some truth to that. But see, now this is where Toya got me fucked up. This is why I've been saying what I've been saying for the longest. And this is for a lot of y'all women too. I'm about to get off into some of y'all ass. You cannot not work and then the only person in the household to work is your man, and you complain about him working too much or not being able to be at home and be present. Because if you probably had a job and probably contributed to the household financially, then maybe it could take some of the load off of him, and then he could probably be at the house more than what he is, or be more present. Toya is on it's a hit. I mean, it ain't like no Housewives, but Toya is on a very good platform. I don't give a damn what y'all say. There is no reason that Toya should not have taken the opportunities that she has had on this show where millions of people could see her face and try and be like the Candy Burris. Every season, Candy Burris has something going on. Whether it fails or not, she gonna try something. Whether it's that A Mother's Love play that flopped, you still can't say that Candy ain't gonna come back every year and try and get to the money. Okay? So it just baffles me that Toya is complaining about this man working too much and not being at home, but all your ass is doing is sitting at the house drinking fucking wine and popping girl beans out of a can and throwing them in a pot with tomato sauce. I don't understand. I honestly don't understand that. I get that Toya wants to live like a rich black woman, and I get that Toya brings in money from the show, but clearly that's not enough money for the lifestyle that Toya wants. And Eugene only can make so much money at his job. We just gonna have to call a thing a thing. So if Toya wants to live a certain lifestyle, she should be using this opportunity that she has on the show to get to that lifestyle. If Toya wants her husband to be more present in the boy's life and in her life and for her not to feel neglected, then maybe you should try and start a wine line. Maybe you should have years ago tried to start a party agency. Maybe you should have tried to do something where you could bring in that extra income so then he wouldn't have to work as much. But if he has to work to make sure that you have this certain lifestyle, if he has to work to make sure that, y'all can live a certain way, you can't then turn around and complain about the motherfucker not being at the house. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Toy, you need to get off her goddamn big ass and get a job. Then your husband could be more present at home. I don't think that's unrealistic, y'all. I really don't. I really, really don't. I get that Toya wants to live like a rich black woman, but you can't live like a rich black woman and you done lived in 5 different houses since your ass done got on the show. A rich black woman don't move around like a gypsy, baby. She might own 5 different houses, but she's just not moving like that. I'm done talking about Toya and Eugene. Dr. Jackie, Dr. Heavenly, girl, we're going to wrap this up. Dr. Jackie, Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly goes and sees Dr. Jackie. I thought Dr. Heavenly looked so pretty with that black hair. Basically, She part of the mature club. Girl, menopause is, I guess, there. She invites her to get an O shot. You know, Jackie is out there in Atlanta, Georgia, charging the girls $2,500 to get a WAP. Girl, I did the math, honey. Jackie said she done did already about 100 shots. Honey, that's $250,000. The one thing about it, two things for sure. Baby, Dr. Jackie gonna get to the money. Toya, you need to take note. Okay. Heavenly's mother is not doing well. They are ready to put her in hospice. She's not doing well. Later on in the episode, she calls and tells Dr. Jackie that she's not going to be able to make it. She's upset because her mother is pretty much transitioning. Dr. Simone, girl. Dr. Simone invites Dr. Heavenly, Dr. Scott, Dr. Contessa, Dr. Damon to, her and Cease. God, be getting them confused. Eugene Curtis. Is his name Curtis or Eugene? No, Eugene is Toya's husband. Cecil. No, Curtis is Dr. Jackie's husband. Cecil is Dr. Simone's husband. Girl, I thought it was funny when Dr. Heavenly walked in and said, "You got some appetizers? Because we hungry." I mean, I see that crown over there. You ain't got to do too much. Okay? I thought she said you was hungry. Okay? Dr. Scott, Dr. Contessa make it. Dr. Heavenly is instantly messy. They told us we were here to give y'all relationship advice. I said, why are you trying to start an argument with Dr. Contessa? So, they break up. The men go in the kitchen. The women are in the living room. And Dr. Simone is basically talking about how she wished that Cecil was a yes man. She thought it was cute at first when he would give her pushback. But now she over 50 years old and she ain't got time for it. Heavenly says that Dr. Heavenly says if I put it in my mouth, I can get whatever I want from my man. I say yes. Put it in your mouth. Yes. All right. Cecil pretends that he has an NDA. Dr. Contessa says it doesn't matter if it's an NDA or not. Dr. Heavenly is going to still talk and just pay the fee. Okay, I said, girl, when you got money, I guess you ain't got to worry about it. Dr. Simone talks about Cecil back in the day. Did y'all see the girl? Did y'all see them pictures of Cecil back in the day? Baby, Cecil. Girl, Cecil was fine. Did y'all see Cecil when he was at Morehouse? Baby, Cecil was low-key the one. Did y'all see them pictures of Cecil when he was younger? She said Cecil has amazing legs. He does. Go back and watch the episode from last week when the guys went boxing, and Cecil had on long shorts. The shorts went to his knees, but just look at Cecil's legs from his knees down. I was even looking at last week. I was like, ooh, Cecil got some nice legs. Cecil got some nice legs, y'all. Did Dr. Scott say that if a Contessa was broke, he wouldn't have married her? Did he say that in the confessional? And y'all be out here scared to say that y'all one date a broke man. But girl, Dr. Scott ain't had no problem saying if Dr. Contessa ain't had no money, girl, he wouldn't have married her. Did he say that in the confessional? I think that's what he said. Dr. Damon basically says that women can be very, basically, girl, y'all can cut a nigga deep with y'all words. That's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. Y'all can cut. That's why men can't handle women's mouth. That's why they turn around and pop y'all in y'all head, of y'all face. Because, girl, a woman can literally, girl, it feel like you just got shot. And she ain't did nothing but just open up her mouth and get your ass together. He was right. Heavenly, I know why that. Oh, I wanted to give a shout. I love Dr. Damon. He's a little too traditional for my taste, but I still love Dr. Damon. The way Dr. Damon was handling Heavenly at the table, that's how you handle someone in mixed company, in front of company. Like, that's what I was trying to say. I know I'm kind of going backwards, But when I was watching Love and Marriage DC, when Chris told Monique to just hush, some of y'all tried to act like that wasn't that big of a deal. Yes, it is. Like, why would you do that to your wife or your husband in front of, like, the way basically Dr. Damon was basically trying to get Heavenly to be quiet? He wasn't disrespectful. He basically said, Heavenly, I know what you want to do, but I'm asking you not to, basically. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't disrespect Heavenly. It wasn't this, even though Dr. Simone was, when he said, now if you want to talk about respect, that's the lack of respect that I'm talking about. But I still felt like Dr. Damon wasn't disrespectful to Heavenly or made her look like a fool at the table. I don't think he did. Girl, I love Dr. Damon. I do. Dr. Damon is so soft spoken. You can tell Dr. Damon will break your neck though. Dr. Damon is the one though. Girl, you can tell Dr. Damon if he get mad, bitch, you better run. Cause Dr. Damon like he don't play when he get mad. He basically says that, the stuff that's going on between Contessa and Heavenly is bullshit. I mean, I guess Dr. Contessa felt like it's not bullshit because it's about my marriage. But I don't think that's what Dr. Damon meant. I felt like that's probably how Contessa took it. Contessa and Dr. Eugene kind of like, it wasn't even a back and forth. They were just having a disagreement. Like, it wasn't anything disrespectful. It wasn't anything that Dr. Scott needed to jump into. It wasn't anything that Dr. Heavenly needed to jump into. It was just a grown man and a grown woman just having a disagreement, right? Nobody was disrespecting anybody, but of course, because Dr. Heavenly feels as though you shouldn't say anything to my man, then Dr. Heavenly, of course, jumped into it. She starts to yell at Contessa. Contessa tells her to shut the fuck up. Girl, that dog took off running. When they showed that dog taking off running, when I tell you that. When they showed that dog taking off running, baby, I hollered. Dr. Damon pretty much gets up and leaves because he's like, I'm over it, I'm done. Cecil tells Dr. Damon to cut Heavenly some slack. That was pretty much it. Like I said, I don't really think that, not that's it, that was it for that scene. I really don't think that Dr. Damon was trying to be disrespectful. I don't think he was disrespectful. I don't think it was anything for Dr. Scott to jump into. He didn't. I definitely don't think it was anything for Dr. Heavenly to jump into. She did. But again, Dr. Heavenly really does, I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't anything for Dr. Heavenly to jump into. And that's pretty much why it went left, in my opinion, because Dr. Heavenly, like, instead of just letting Dr. Contessa and Dr. Damon just have a civilized conversation, or even for her to even jump in and kind of like, but I also will say, I forgot about this, that I felt like Dr. Contessa and Dr. Simone were low-key. They knew, like, when they started saying to Dr. Heavenly, he talking about you. Like, nobody's going to sit there and I forgot about that part. Nobody's going to sit there, especially when their husband is talking, and then now you sitting here trying to say that my husband is low-key talking about me, even though it did sound like he was talking about Heavenly, and you expect Heavenly not to say nothing back. And I also want to say this too. Dr. Simone and Dr. Contessa, y'all need to stop with the whole Heavenly was telling y'all business. Heavenly was not telling y'all business. You could probably get mad at Heavenly for speaking about what was already out there, but Heavenly has never told Dr. Contessa. Heavenly ain't never said nothing on her YouTube channel that we didn't know. Again, you could probably get mad at Dr. Heavenly for saying what she said, but you can't. The way that Contessa trying to act like Heavenly was just online telling her business. She wasn't telling your business, girl. You know that. Simone, she wasn't even telling your business. Quad, so they go to the O-Shot party. Quad basically says that I don't think she got the O-Shot. She basically said, in a nutshell, I'm not going to let these niggas going to have to do some work. Girl, you want me to already come in with a wet cat, right? Like you done did something and you ain't did nothing. So you gonna have to put in some work, okay? You already ain't gonna give me no orgasm. I ain't about to have you thinking I'm wet just because of you, okay? Um, I thought it was kind of funny, like Jackie really out the girl, like y'all. I guess it's like I don't know why it's not weird, but it's kind of like Jackie is really down there looking at these women coochies, like just and they just opening up their legs and she just down there, girl just playing with pussy all night. Girl, when Dr. Simone started screaming and girl, they made it seem as though girl, you could hear her voice all over Atlanta. I thought that was funny. Um, and that was pretty much it. That's all I remember. Um, oh, Heavenly girl, of course, Quad. Heavenly's mom is dying right now. She may not make it to the end of this week. She's dying right now. Girl, when I tell you, I ain't gonna lie. I hollered, baby, the way that Toya and Contessa was looking at Heavenly like, and that's how they was looking. But Dr. Contessa did say, you know what, let's say a prayer. Of course, Quad, that's what I'm talking about. You can still be, in conflict and still be sympathetic. That's what I love. God is a mess. That was pretty much it, child. That was pretty much it, girl. This review was longer than what it needed to be. All right, I'll talk to y'all girls later. Bye.